Hello, welcome to the Cardboard Dungeon. I'm Pat,
I'm George.
and today we're talking about Kaosball from designer Eric M. Lang and publisher Cool Mini or Not and Spaghetti Western Games. Now, Eric Lang has been a veteran game designer for several years. You may know him from his work with Fantasy Flight Games on several of their living card games. He's got design credits on the Call of Cthulhu, Game of Thrones, and the recent Star Wars LCG, as well as dozens of their expansions. And he's a co-creator along with Mike Elliott on Quarriors and several of the spin-off dice building games that game spawned. And he's no stranger to card-based combat systems, obviously, without a living card game experience that he has. And so you're going to see that in Kaosball, which has a pretty streamlined card-based combat system. And the publisher, Cool Mini or Not, is a company that actually started as a website where people could go and rate the quality of painted miniatures. And just recently, in the last couple of years, they've gotten into board game publishing with games like Zombicide, Arcadia Quest, Super Dungeon Explorer. And they are known for, as no surprise, high-quality miniatures in their games. And Kaosball is no exception to that as well. So what we're going to do today for you is we're going to give you a very brief overview of how the game plays. And then we're going to do a gameplay demonstration for you. We're going to play through one period. Game goes for 4 periods normally, but you'll get a pretty good idea of what the game's all about. And then we'll wrap it all up with our final thoughts on the game. So to begin, George is going to tell you how Kaosball is played.
Thanks, Pat. Kaosball follows in the tradition of Blood Bowl, Mutant League Football, where each player controls a team battling over the fabled Kaosball. On your turn, you will get to do one of 2 things. You can activate a blue tactics card, or you can activate a figure. Activating a figure, you can do one of 3 things. You can perform a sprint action, which requires you can move your runner or bruiser. Bruisers are square, runners are circle. Move either one up to 5 spaces. If they end their space on the Kaosball, they automatically pick it up, and you can choose to pick it up and end your movement. Or you can do a tackle action, which allows you to move 3 spaces and perform a tackle against an enemy figure adjacent to yours. There's also the attack action, which allows you to do the same thing, move 3 spaces, but this time you can attempt to deal damage to an enemy in your adjacent space.
And hopefully kill him, right?
Yes, that is the goal. You want to kill.
Yes.
The game is bloody. Very, very bloody.
And so the bruisers are your guys who tackle and attack. The runners can't do that.
Yep.
They're just for carrying the ball.
Yep. And that's the only way you can score in the game is by having runners with the ball on the scoring mound. At the start of your turn, you will check to see if you can score. If you can, you score points based on whatever period it is. The only other way then that you can score points besides that is by having your runner on the major scoring round, which is worth 5. However, that requires you to get through the enemy team, and that's not always easy.
They're trying to kill you.
Very much so. I will be trying to kill him. Every player starts with 7 cards. These will be what you use to do your various tactics. You'll have cheating cards, and then you have energy cards that you will play to determine contests.
So a period's going to end once one player has played a total of 9 cards. So when you play a card, it goes face up in front of you. Once somebody plays their 9th card, at the end of their turn, that's going to kick off the end of period buzzer. Each other player gets one last turn, and then the period ends. And there is another scoring opportunity at halftime at the end of the game. Whoever killed the most enemy players is going to get some bonus points.
And then there's also cheating. If you cheat and don't bribe the refs, you get fouls. Person with the most fouls at the beginning of halftime, at the end of the game, will lose points as well. So you want to be careful. You want to cheat, but you don't want to get too bad because then you're losing the points you get.
Yeah, this game is it's all about cheating.
It really is.
Cheating, mayhem, and death. Okay, so we're going to play out a period of the game for you here. And first we're going to tell you a little bit about our teams and our chosen ringers, who are these guys on the green bases. I will be playing the Amazons. Now, the important stuff to note on the team board is the health of your bruisers and your runners down here. So my bruisers have 3 health each, and my runners are a little fragile with 2 health. But my team is pretty good at handling with a +1 bonus, not great at tackling, +0, but they're great at fighting. They're Amazons after all, +2. The other stuff on the board that's important is we have remaining cash up here. Now, George and I both did a pre-game draft to choose our ringers and a team upgrade right over here. And that cost us a little bit of cash. Now, this remaining cash is what we're going to use to bribe the refs during the game to look the other way when we cheat and hopefully not incur fouls. So the next thing here is fouls. We start with 0 fouls, and if we're unable or unwilling to bribe the refs, we may have some fouls at the end of the period. And then down to the bottom, we have active upgrade points, which just show how many total points worth of upgrades our team can have. And it's worth noting that the upgrades are little magnetized cards that stick right on the board, which is kind of cool. My team has an upgrade called Hate, which lets them score 1 point whenever they injure or kill an opposing figure. So combined with my team's +2 to fighting, you know that my goal in this game is going to be to try to kill enemy players, which seems pretty fitting for the Amazon. And my chosen ringer is this guy called the Dragon. Here he is. He's a dragon. And he is fast. He can move up to 3 additional spaces whenever he's activated. And he's got a health of 3, so not super tough, but he's not as flimsy as a runner either. So that is my team. The Amazons backed up by the Dragon.
And I am playing as Mount Globberton Ogres. You'll see the Ogres are pretty beefy. Both their health is 4. Not very good at handling, not very good at fighting, but they are good at tackling. Get +1 to that. It's their ability that you need to watch out for. They have the ability Stomp. Before you activate one of them, you may stomp with each figure, pushing all adjacent enemy figures backwards 1 space. An enemy that cannot move back 1 space is knocked down instead. Pretty nasty. For my upgrade, I have Pile Driver. This allows me, I gain 1 point every time I initiate and win a tackling contest. So obviously I will be trying to tackle the crap out of Pat.
Well, I'm trying to kill your guys.
Yes.
And I just realized I didn't talk about the Amazons' team ability. They pretty simply can attack on diagonals, where normally it's orthogonal attacking and tackling only. So the Amazons are fairly powerful with that diagonal attack ability. It also lets them get around one of the core rules of the game, which is when you move a figure into the kill zone of another opposing figure, they can make an attack or a tackle action if it's a bruiser that you move next to, or if it's a runner, they can try to steal the ball from you. But they can only do it orthogonally, so the Amazons can stay out of that and just make their attack without repercussions, which is pretty cool. Okay, let's kick this off. So before the game today, George and I had a headbutting contest. Lasted about 10 minutes, and George won. So George will be going first.
Thanks to my hard head. I'm going to play a tactic card called Wall of Stone. This will allow me to put 2 walls up anywhere on the board that I want and then activate a figure. I will go ahead and activate my ringer with the sprint action.
I don't think you talked about who your ringer is, George.
Oh, no, I didn't. My ringer is the Butcher. He's special. He may only have 2 health, but if he wins a fighting contest and deals any damage, the enemy figure is instantly killed. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and activate the Butcher with the sprint action. Move up 3 spaces, end my movement on the Kaosball, and then draw back up to 7.
So the wall is going to block my diagonal attack. So if I were to move a bruiser up here, even though it looks like she can attack diagonally, that wall stops me from doing that. So I'd have to actually move into the Butcher's kill zone, which I think I'm probably just going to have to do because I don't have many other options. So what I'm going to do is I am going to activate this bruiser and just move her right up here. So I've moved into the Butcher's kill zone. George gets an opportunity to make a tackle or attack action against her before I can finish my action.
Yep. I will go ahead and form a tackle action against him.
Tackle action. All
yes.
Right. Let's see. All right.
All right.
Oh, I played my upset, which only works against 4 or higher. George only played a +1, so he's got a total of 2 to my 0, and he's won this tackle. I'm knocked down.
And my ability allows me to score a point for tackling.
So this is a good time to point out that the scoring markers in this game are actually little mini busts of your team's coach. And each team has a different marker, which is awesome. Like here's my Amazon lady. That's just above and beyond, and that's what Cool Mini or Not is known for. All right, so that ends my turn.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and activate one of my runners with the sprint action, move him up, and then take a handoff from my ringer. Then draw back up to 7 and pass the turn.
I'm going to activate the dragon, and he is going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces and just hang out right there. And that ends my turn.
Okay, and start of my turn, I do have a runner on a mount, so I score 1 point for that. Okay, I'll go ahead and activate my ringer, bringing him right close to yours.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and play a cheat card.
Uh-oh.
This card is called Bzzzt. It says play when an opposing figure enters one of your kill zones. That figure takes 1 damage and it cannot be canceled. So 1 damage to the bruiser. He's half dead.
Yep, and I forgot to announce before performing an attack action. You do have to announce that as you're activating.
Well, so it's the beginning of the contest. I'm going to play Stim Pack. Another cheat card. And if my revealed energy card has a star, I double the total of that energy card.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
I better think this one carefully.
All right, so here's our cards. And here's how a good example for how a contest is going to work here. We compare the numbers on the energy cards that we played plus any bonuses from our team. I've got a whopping total of 8 here.
Yeah.
My 3 is doubled, and plus 2 from my Amazon's fighting ability, so I think I won that, and I think the Butcher is dead.
Nope. Because I'm going to play a cheating card myself, Chaos Warp. This allows me to discard both of the cards played, and we restart the contest.
Oh boy. All right. Discarded cards. So let's do it again.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
I've got a 5.
Oh, yep.
And I win with my plus 2 to fighting. Yes? So
Yes.
the Butcher is
Butcher
dead for
is
real this
dead.
time. Woo! I'm going to put him over here on my side of the table, where he will count for me at the end of the halftime toward most dead enemy players. All right, wow, that was quite the round there.
It was. So I will draw back up to 7, and it is your turn.
All right. Well, I guess I'm going to have to try to get that ball away from your guy. So I'm going to activate the dragon, move him up here. So 1 space on the board can hold 1 figure along with any number of knockdown figures. So I'm standing on the prone body of my teammate. And I'm going to make an attack action against the runner on the bruiser's side there, attacking diagonally with my Amazon ability. All right. And I do have my card here. All right. So I played a 4, and so did George. So my 6 beats a 4. And how damage works in this game is the defender is going to take damage equal to the difference between our 2 scores. So he's going to take 2 points of damage. Damage in this game are these awesome little skull tokens. And they're just going to go right on that runner.
Yep.
He's half dead now as well, but still on the scoring spot. Now I'm going to draw back up to 7. Did we talk about dead cards? We didn't, did we?
No.
Right, let's talk about that real quick.
Yep. So the way dead cards work is anytime you played an energy card, for the first time it's considered live. After that, if you play the same energy card, like if I were to play a 1, 5, or 4, it'd be considered dead and would count as nothing. The only way that really comes up is he plays a card, he wins the contest, he would then deal the amount of damage dealt that would be said on the energy card, unless we both play dead cards, and then he would deal damage equal to his bonus.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, start of my turn, I get a point. And I will go ahead and activate my bruiser with a tackle action, moving him up 2 spaces. performing any action response or no?
No.
Okay, I'm going to play my stim pack this time.
All right. So double the value of your card if it has a star on it.
Yep.
So I played a dead card because I've already played a 3.
Yep.
So that counts as nothing. So you win, and the dragon is tackled and knocked down.
Beefy Dragon is down.
All right.
And then I score another point for a tackle. Draw back up to 7.
Okay, I'm going to play a tactic card, Huddle. This lets me discard up to 3 cards, or 3 cards from my hand, and then draw back up to 7 and activate a figure. So we're going to do that. Let's see. Discard 3 and draw back up. Alright, and we're going to activate my runner on the far side of the field. Sprint. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And she's going to make a steal attempt. Trying to steal the ball from the ogre runner standing there. And now stealing attempts are going to use the handling bonus from your team. So I've got a +1 to that. Whoa, you went big. Oh, you played a dead card on that one.
Played a dead card on him.
So I've stolen the Kaosball away from that ogre.
I will go ahead, activate my bruiser with a tackle action, moving him up 1. I'm going to tackle the girl with the ball.
I have no energy cards right now, so I've played a useless card. Doesn't do anything for me in the fight, and she's going to be tackled. The Kaosball will stay where it is, but
I do get a follow-up. Anytime you perform a tackle action against a runner or somebody that has the Kaosball, you can move your figure into the space and pick the Kaosball up.
So that bruiser is holding the ball. He doesn't know what to do with it, though. He can't score with it, so he's going to have to try to get it to one of his runners to score.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh,
yeah,
I do have 9 cards, so now we will do the end of the period buzzer. I will draw back up, and Pat will get one more turn.
One last turn to do something. All right. Well, I'm going to play Boot to the Head as a cheat card. Play at the beginning of my turn, and it's going to knock down an enemy figure. So I'm going to knock down your runner, or your bruiser with the ball. Go ahead and knock him over there. And let's see, I think I'm going to sprint or run. Sprint, run. I can come up here, right, and take the ball? Even though it's a bruiser, I'm not going to do anything with it.
She saw a shiny ball.
All right, so I'm not on a scoring mound. That's going to be the end of the period. So that's one period of 4 in Kaosball. And at the end of the period, it looks like the Ogres are winning 4-0 against the Amazons. But the Amazons did kill the Ogre's ringer, so I feel like that's a pretty good start.
No, killing the Butcher is good. And
so what happens at the end of the period now is we're going to score points, right? For each runner that's standing on a scoring mound. So the Ogres have 1, so that actually gives them 1 additional point. And nobody else is on a scoring mound. That's an interesting scoring thing, too. It doesn't matter if they're carrying the ball or not. Runners on the mounds are just going to get a point. Or however many points based on the period that you're in. That's going to increase each period.
And the major scoring mounds count, too. If you can get your enemy, if you can get your figure over onto your adjacent team's scrimmage colors mound, you can score 5 points that way at the end of the period as well.
So the next thing we have to do is look at how many cheat cards each of us played. Now, I've played 3 in this period, so in order to avoid taking fouls or the chance of fouls, I need to pay $1 out of my cash for each cheat card that I played. And I'll go ahead and do that, so down to 3. Now, if I hadn't done that, I'd have to roll this tiebreaker die. If it's a +1 or +2 face on that, I would incur that many fouls and just move my foul tracker accordingly. But since I have the cash available and getting fouls is bad, it can cost you points at the end of the half and at the end of the game. You're going to want to try to avoid that if possible.
Yep. And I've got 2 cheat cards myself, so I will move down to 4. And that's bribery. And then if we hadn't bribed, we would go to the cheating where you would roll the tiebreaker die. And then once that's done, you prep for the next round. Take everything off.
Set up your team again.
Any killed ringers or basically any team members that have been killed, you will replace. Start of your next round. Any damage does carry over from round to round. The only exception to that is during the half when all your team members get benched. Any team member that gets benched is instantly healed.
All right, so that's what Kaosball is like to play. So what do we think about this game, George?
I absolutely love the game. I've been getting really into the minis games for a while. They're quite fun. The detail of the minis are great. The detail on that thing is awesome. I absolutely love it. Like they put some time, put some effort into it.
Yeah, they really do. And this game is really the epitome of the Ameritrash type of game. There's no counters in this game, no cardboard counters. Everything that puts on the field is a piece of plastic. And I love the damage tokens being little skulls. There's a little plastic fire. We didn't see that, but you can put fire on the field. It's a little piece of fire here. The walls are nice, chunky plastic walls. I love the busts for the coaches. I mean, they really went all out. There's just so much stuff that they probably didn't have to do for this game. Then they threw it all in there just to beef up the amount of plastic that you get in the game, which is becoming somewhat of a rarity these days. The rising cost of plastic driving the price of games up. A lot of people are moving more toward cardboard pieces.
I always had the opinion of you get what you pay for, and this game is worth every penny that you spend.
Yeah, it's definitely a good value. We played with 2 of the teams from the base box. There's 4 teams in there. So you get a lot of options out of that. Cool Mini or Not is also going to be bringing out a whole bunch of additional teams. There's like 14, 15 of them, and there's a ton of them. So, going forward, there's going to just be a lot of variation, a lot of replay value in this game, even in the base box, and then you can add on to that as much as you want with additional teams.
Yeah, I like the fact that they included, you can download custom rules for creating your own leagues. So you can have a couple months of people battling it out, have a full season where you continue upgrades, buying more ringers and whatnot, and then you can have a playoffs at the end where people compete, and it's incredibly well done. Everything they've done with the game, even the cards, there's a lot of depth to it. You're thinking, okay, do I want to throw this contest away, because that's why you saw me play a low card early, because I wanted to keep my high cards a little bit later, so that way I could win tackling contests. For what's involved, there's a lot of thinking. I mean, it's like playing chess, but with a lot less pieces and a lot more death.
Right. Yeah, it's well balanced. There's a good depth of strategy. I don't really have any complaints about the game. I think one thing that we've talked about while playing this game is that the community pool of cards can sometimes work against a player. Like you saw the last few turns of this first period that we played, I had no energy cards in my hand. I just didn't have any options in contests. And we played a game where one player went almost a full period in that situation where he just couldn't do anything. I'm not sure if it's an easily remedied situation. We talked about, and I believe that Eric Lang explored the possibility of having a separate deck of cards for each team, but that's going to add more complexity to the game. And I don't really think it needs that. It's very streamlined, very simple, easy to teach, easy to play. And I think that's great for a game of this type. I don't think you want to add a whole lot more complexity or things like that, even if it means that all the teams are on more equal footing. I think that the chaos of having a random hand of cards and not knowing, what your opponent has specifically, it adds to the game. It just adds to the whole craziness that's happening. And one period you can completely outmatch your opponent just because of the cards you have, and then the next period you might not be able to do anything, and you're getting crushed. And that's the back and forth of the type of game that this is. So I think it works out really well. It's a very good game. We highly recommend it.
Highly recommend it.
All right, well, thank you for tuning in and watching this episode of the Cardboard Dungeon. And if you liked what you saw here, we may do a full game video at some point in the future of Kaosball. So if that's something that you'd like to see, let us know in the comments below, or hit us up with a private message, whatever you want to do. And thanks again for watching. Bye.
Thanks.
Yeah. This is the silent shot, by the way.